So he has the curve, which is well, even though it's a zoo deck, it's still important to have a curve. Sometimes you just miss the one drop. On the other hand, Hyped has Farseer, which is a good card. Hype doesn't know. I'm not sure if Hype can be actually sure what kind of Warlock he's facing. Does Hype know if it's Zoo or Handlock?
Well, Trump is primarily a Zoo player whenever he's brought Warlock to a tournament, and that also makes it a little confusing of why he wants to pick up Backstab. And if Hype is trying to play very conservative and just like make sure to have a mutual agreement that Gadget Sand's the best card that he wants against both, then he might go for it. But I don't know, like it might be a little too optimistic to feel like I have time, because if Zoo gets off to a really good start, you might not have time to play Gadget Sand. You might not have enough health to be able to pull back into the game.
Yeah, I feel like one of the key cards in this matchup being Morelco Rogue is actually SA7. Backstab is also pretty helpful, but SA7 is the card that actually turns the game around, especially if you have a coin.
But there is something to be said that Hyped also has played so many games versus Zoo because it is one of the most popular ladder decks. And he also sees Zombie Chow. It's a card that surprisingly extends the life of many players because you aren't able to get its opposite synergy with something like Akanai Soul Priest in Zoo. So effectively, Hyped just used Backstab and he's back at full health and only loses a weapon charge. And that might give a little bit more longevity to the game than Trump would like.
Oh yeah, certainly. Especially because right now Trump only deals 1 point of damage. This is already turn 3. So it seems like a slow start, but on turn 4 he will be able to play Juggler and Direwolf Alpha, and those minions are so sticky, so they will probably remain here. Also, this Farseer is going down for sure with the Direwolf Alpha being played. Now the question is...
Oh, Defender of Argus draw is so nasty.
This is even better. This is a sick draw. Now he is able to kill Farseer without even losing Hearthstone.
Yep, and now all of a sudden these 1 damage spells like Shiv are... They only kill half the iteration. There's still a 2-1 remaining. Oh, and Hype does pick up Sap though, and that card is not really that effective against Zoo, but if you can use it to remove buffs, or take away really expensive creatures like Dark Iron Dwarf or Harvest Golem, it does have its place. And he is also taking pretty minimal amounts of damage, and he's coming up on turns where he can use Gadget Sand. So he's still stabilizing enough. Trump's been taking a very slow, methodical approach. That way he has a very sticky board. But cards that put out a lot of damage, like Knife Juggler and Direwolf Alpha, have been sitting in his hand for a while. And that could be a reason why Trump can't necessarily win the game as the turns continue to progress.
Well, on the other hand, Hype doesn't have the AoE clear, so... even if he plays... Like, playing Gadgets on next turn doesn't make any sense, because he won't be able to draw that many cards. And there is also always a threat of a Soulfire. So Trump will just continue to develop his board and try to push as much damage as possible. The question is Hype being able to deal with that board effectively?
Well, he has cards to stall until then. And, you know, the coin also gives him another draw. Meanwhile, Trump picks up Nerubian Egg, and he's back at he's still asking the same question as he did in the very beginning of the game. Do you go for more of a development where that way you're resilient against the cards that Miracle can push out, or are you going to go for more of an aggressive approach?
Well, it seems that he's trying to protect himself from the AoEs, so that the
Nerubian Egg... man! Conceal off the top for Hyped.
Yeah, this is huge. This is exactly what he wanted. And the backstab, oh my god, this is so good for Hype. Backstab is the perfect card.
That is pretty devastating, and Trump loses a lot of power on board, half of his damage. And this is what he was afraid of.
This is the exact situation you don't want to find yourself in, being the Zoo. You were able to deal only 6 points of damage. Your board is really not that significant. You have no way to kill that Gadget Sand, and you know that next turn you will get a lot of damage. Basically, next turn, your board can actually get cleared, and you can't do anything about it, and you are going to also get some points of damage in the process. Your opponent will actually go through his whole deck, set up a win in the next 2 turns.
All right, you know, and even if he goes for 3 juggles, it's still going to be very close because he can't kill off this Gadget Sand, and he's not even doing damage straight to the face.
I think I will actually go for the Haunted Creeper. Yeah, this board is going to be cleared. I will definitely expect...
Wow! Wow, 3 juggles to Gadgets in.
So close.
And Hyped ends up gaining 3 life because of it. And he also has Fan of Knives.
Yeah,
actually, something that is annoying though is the Gadget can't kill off a minion and then play a spell.
True, and he is missing preparations, but still has a lot of good cards in here.
Right, double SI7 agent, a very valuable card to have. If Hype was able to pick up preparation though, this board would be history. Or specifically, this board would be toast.
Can he play? I think he has to play Cold Blood. Wait.
Well, he has to make a choice. Shiv ends up giving him a lot of cards. He could feel like he's not under threat. The Gadget Sand could trade. Oh my goodness. You can also Shadow Step his Gadget Sand too. Shadow Step's also really powerful with SI7 agent in this matchup.
Certainly, it's a Shadow Step is a card in this matchup to actually get board control and put yourself in a good position. Not necessarily just keep it and for the Leroy play.
Oh, he picks up preparation. He needs to kind of go quickly though.
Here. Almost roped.
Nope, he doesn't end up using preparation. It looks like he's going to keep prep to have a massive Van Cleef, which is also another way to win in this matchup. Trump, by the way, picks up Soulfire, so a way to add in damage. And finally, he's starting to rack it in, the aggression, because he needs to just go all in. He still hasn't drawn Doom Guards.
I like the Soulfire play because if he gets a Doom Guard, he won't lose that Soulfire. He puts Hyped on 10 points of health, which is an amount that's really deadly. You have a full board, your opponent is almost dead. So now if he gets a second Soulfire, or if he gets his first Doom Guard, he's in a position to just play it and deal even more damage.
Gosh. Hyped's also very cautious to make sure not to activate his Nerubian Egg. He picks up a second Fan of Knives, so that way he can be able to minimize the damage. And Trump's board has gone kapoof. A 10-10 Van Cleef has appeared, and I don't know if Trump's running Iron Beak Owl.
He might not, and double Voidwalker is not something he wanted.
Well, actually, it's doesn't it provide big enough wall that Van Cleef can't get through necessarily?
Well, not really, because he should be able to actually remove it pretty easily.
Yeah, he does have Deadly Poison and SI7 agents.
And Shadow Step.
That is one way that Van Cleef can be pretty ineffective. Second preparation is actually good for Hype, because now he can put out double SI7 agent. Everything is lining up perfectly
and
for the Miracle Rogue.
Yeah, this is so sick from his side.
This guy's toast.
And now Trump is looking at a next turn death here.
Well, if he gets a Soulfire, uses it for face, then Life Tap into Doomguard just wins at that point.
That is also true. But this is a 14 damage Van Cleef coming one way. And Trump needs 2 very specific cards in order to win here. Oh no, Flame is not one of them. Oh, and it looks like Hype is going to be able to take game 2 and jump out to a 2-0 lead.
Poor Trump. He played it really well, but he didn't get it